you are seen as a human lie detector in some way,
Hmm.
right? Can you tell me one of the biggest myths that you've heard when it comes to lie detection?
Definitely. So one of the primary myths is about eye contact, right? And that if somebody's looking you in the eye, they're telling you the truth. If they're averting eye contact, they're not telling you the truth, right? They're lying. And some believe that, well, people are uncomfortable with lying, so they're going to look away. Um, Tons of studies show us that there's really no difference in the level of eye contact between truth tellers and liars. And there are some studies that show that liars actually make slightly more eye contact, right, because they're trying to be convincing. But if we take all the studies together, there's no difference between truth tellers and liars in terms of eye contact.
What's something that if people are trying to figure out whether somebody is being truthful or not, are there things that they can look out for that are helpful to them?
Yeah, so it's interesting that over the decades of research that's been done on deception detection, we've always been looking for signs of lying. And what we've found basically is that there are no universal signs of deception. We've just been looking at it the wrong way, because what we have found is that there are signs of truthfulness. And it's not the nonverbal stuff that we've been taught to look for, right? It's actually how the story is constructed and relayed, right? It's the verbal account. And true stories have components to them that lies do not. So that's what we're really looking for is, are those components present in an account? Now, if they're not present, it doesn't mean 100% that the person's lying. There's a couple other steps that we have to take to come to that determination. But if those things are present, we can first be pretty confident the person's telling the truth.
So many people ask me about this. They write to me, Evie, I get so angry. I don't know how to control myself. Like, what's at the core of it? Why is it that people have such a hard time regulating themselves when somebody is trying to piss them off?
Primarily because they don't spend any time paying attention to or thinking about, what do I care about? What do I value? What do I believe? And why, when somebody says something that goes against those things, do I get angry? Right? What is in that? And if I understand, what am I getting angry about? Right? What thing that I care about have they somehow touched on? Right? That sparked that anger. Like, a friend of mine was interviewing a guy, and it was on the Times Square bombing, and he asked the guy, why did you have the webcams on, the Times Square webcams on your computer? And he said, because I want to watch Americans die. And my friend was angry for a minute, right? And he only realized later, yeah, because of his belief in America and everything, how deep that affected him and how quickly and how he got angry at the guy, right? Which is not an effective response, and he gets that. That's why he told me the story. But if we don't reflect on those things we care about, right? We don't know why we're getting angry. We just get angry, right? So recognizing that, and then literally practicing letting that emotion come up, but also recognizing this isn't helpful. Here's why it's happening. I get why it's happening. It's not helpful in this situation. What's a better response? So you can just push that initial response aside and come up with a better response. Like, I had one guy tell me, I was asking him why he killed somebody, and he said his response was because it was fun. And so my initial feeling was, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, it was fun, right? So that comes up. Fortunately, it didn't come out of my mouth. And so my question was something more of, tell me about that, right? Which was helpful and propelled the conversation along versus stopping the conversation. But I didn't always have the ability to recognize that. But in that case, fortunately, I recognized bad response. I'm going to get pissed. Go to a good response and let that one go.
Was that true? What he said to you, or did he just say it just to
He just
provoke you?
said it to provoke me. I'm trying to remember what the deeper story was, but it was a long series of kind of confrontations between the two people. It wasn't because it was fun.
When large companies come to you or executives come to you, what are the issues that you typically see them deal with? Because you took basically everything you learned as an FBI agent now. And yes, you do training for law enforcement, but you also help organizations and companies internally.
The primary things are kind of managers dealing with subordinates or whatever, the people who work under them, and not communicating effectively with them, not dealing with problems, not able to deal with problems head on, um, not able to address problems, which then causes the problem to get bigger because everybody else sees it's not being addressed, and now you have to spread this whole kind of level of unhappiness throughout your group. So that's the primary one, is just how do we have difficult conversations with people that we don't want to have? And then the other is what we've talked about, is with the change and it never working, and how do we explain why we're doing this?
Why do you think people don't have those conversations? Are people just cowards? Why is that?
I wouldn't say cowards. I would say there's just that discomfort, but that discomfort comes from, I don't know how to do it. I don't want to go have a difficult conversation with somebody if I don't have any idea how to do that. So, and, or, we've been taught how to do it so incorrectly, and then people see that that doesn't work, but they don't know a different way. So, like, the sandwich method, like, let me tell you all the things you're doing really well. Now let me tell you this bad thing that you're doing. Oh, and you're also doing these things really well, right? And that comes across as really condescending, right? Not genuine, right? Because if you're telling me I'm doing something wrong, but you're also telling me these things right, I don't know what to believe, and it feels like you're lying to me. I just don't know what you're lying about. And so there's no genuineness there. But the condescending is going to make people withdraw. So they're not really engaged in that conversation anymore. So it makes it even more difficult to address that issue, right? Because condescending, bad behavior, it breeds bad behavior. Right? So rather than doing that, just being direct about why I'm here to talk to you, but then drawing them into the conversation and letting them talk about it is going to work a lot better. But most people don't have the confidence to, if there's an issue, to let whoever they're talking to talk about that issue, right? It's easier to say, here's what you're doing bad, do it better, right? Versus together, right? The belonging part, this is an issue. It's affecting your work. It's affecting the people around you. Right? I'm not sure why it's an issue, and I'd love to hear from you, your perspective on what's going on here, and then let's figure out what can be done differently. Right? So you're creating that, we're going to solve this. I'm not attacking you. I'm not judging you, but it is an issue that we have to deal with, and not being afraid to say that.
For the record, I've heard of the sandwich method and I don't like it. It seems kind of disingenuous. Let me tell you something
Completely.
nice because I have to tell you something bad. And then I wonder, I also too think it's insulting to that person because I
Yeah.
don't know how you're going to react. I have to put this little sandwich together to make sure that you feel okay for me to tell you, like, no, I don't agree with that. This is why.
Right. Yeah.
And having the ability to tell somebody that, and at the same time, though, making them feel like it doesn't mean it's, I think you can do that and maybe help them understand. Because I think sometimes too, sometimes the recipient or the person listening is not hearing, hey, I need you to do this differently. They're hearing, I'm not doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm messing up.
Yep. There's something flawed
There's
about you.
something flawed about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And that's the conversation should be about, kind of, again, the why, but what are the impacts? What's happening, right? Not that you're flawed, not that it's you, but here's what's going on, and we need to figure out how to fix that.
You worked stuff for Bin Laden's case as well.
I did, yeah. So some of that I can't talk about, but